In the choking heat of a St. Petersburg summer, where the alleyways reek of sweat and soot, a young man paces the floor of his rented room, a space no larger than a coffin. His name is Rodion Romanovich Raskolnikov, a brilliant but penniless ex-student, and he is on the edge. Not just of society, but of his own unraveling mind. He believes something terrible, or perhaps something bold. That some people, extraordinary people, have the moral right to commit crimes if it means achieving a greater good. That history was built by men who did not ask permission. Napoleon. Alexander. Could he not be one of them? To test this idea and to escape his crushing poverty, he hatches a plan. A brutal, simple plan. He will murder Alyona Ivanovna, a greedy, abusive old pawnbroker whom he convinces himself is a worthless tick on the flesh of society. He will steal her money, put it to good use, and become something more than the pale, half-starved wretch he sees in the mirror. But when the axe falls, it doesn't just end a life. It fractures his soul. For Alyona's innocent sister, Lizaveta, walks in unexpectedly, and Raskolnikov kills her too. This one not calculated, not justified, just a raw, bloody reaction. Now, his philosophical theory has a second corpse, and no clarity. From that moment on, the true punishment begins. Not from the police, not from the courts, but from his own mind. Raskolnikov descends into a fevered haze of paranoia, guilt, and isolation. He roams the city in delirium, alternating between cold defiance and a desperate craving for forgiveness. He becomes a ghost in his own life, haunted not by fear of being caught, but by the unbearable burden of not being caught. And then, into this bleak, shadowed world, comes a strange kind of light. Sonia Marmeladova, a meek and impoverished girl who sells her body to keep her family from starving. She is suffering, broken, and yet radiant in her humility. In her, Raskolnikov sees not just pity, but something he cannot name, perhaps the possibility of redemption. She reads him the story of Lazarus. She asks him to repent, not because she condemns him, but because she loves him. Meanwhile, the law closes in, not with handcuffs, but with eyes and questions. Porfiry Petrovich, the sly and psychologically astute detective, suspects Raskolnikov early on. But rather than arrest him outright, Porfiry chooses to wage a quieter, more profound war. He waits, he listens, and he needles at the edges of Raskolnikov's justifications until the young man's own thoughts betray him. It's not evidence Porfiry wants, it's confession. Around this central drama, Dostoevsky weaves a world of competing voices and philosophies. There is Razumikin, Raskolnikov's loyal friend, whose kindness and stability act as a counterweight to the chaos. There is Luzhin, the calculating suitor of Raskolnikov's sister Dunya, who represents a cold utilitarianism that mimics Raskolnikov's own theory, but without the anguish. And then there is Svidrigailov, a libertine who tries to buy love and outrun conscience, but whose fate shows what happens when a man embraces darkness fully. As the noose of guilt and moral collapse tightens, Raskolnikov finally breaks. Sonia urges him to confess, not just to the authorities, but to life itself, to accept suffering not as punishment, but as purification.